Hey guys! So today I'm doing my first book haul of 2018, which is pretty exciting. This is a little collection of two of Rainbow Rowell's short stories. The first one is called Midnights and the second one is called Kindred Spirits. First of all, I have to say that I love this cover. You probably can't tell on the camera, but it's glittery, which is awesome. It's amazing. I love it. I found this at the warehouse for $10, by the way. If any New Zealanders are watching this and want to get your hands on it, I would check out the warehouse. They might still have a couple copies because $10 is a really good price. In other bookstores in New Zealand, I've seen it for like over 25. So as you guys know, I love Rainbow Rowell. I'd already read Kindred Spirits from the library last year or the year before, and I really liked it. I think I gave it like 4 stars. And then Midnights I've actually already read as well. I read it on New Year's Eve, like right before I went to sleep. It just seemed like good timing because it's set on New Year's Eve. I thought Midnights was so cute and I can't wait to talk about it a little bit more in my wrap up at the end of the month. The second book in this haul is one that I received. The author sent this to me. It's called When I Am King and it's by Matthias L. Magnusson. Probably not pronouncing that correctly, but this is a adult fiction novel and it's self-published by the author. Just like a little disclaimer, I normally don't accept self-published books. The main reason being that I just feel like editing usually is not great. Things like that. The only other thing with self-published books I find is that you have that awkward thing of when it's, you know, direct communication that you've had with the author, I would feel like so much worse giving a bad review for it. So that's just some of the reasons that I don't normally accept books from self-published authors. The reason that I accepted this one was that it just sounded really good. It sounded like a book that I would like. So to give you a little synopsis of it, it's about a guy who basically joins a cult. He's like part of this religion and then he gets offered a chance to go live with the founder who created the religion, and it's very culty. I really like cult kind of stories and it just sounded super appealing to me. The cover art I think is really cool as well, which the author also did himself. Yeah, it's an interesting one and it is adult fiction, which like contributes to my goal of reading more adult fiction throughout the year, so there's that. The next book I have is not an actual book, but it is one that I purchased myself, and if you follow me on Instagram I posted like a little teaser of this. This was the mystery thing that I had in the box that I posted on Instagram and I was so excited about it. I'm actually going to put in some clips of me flipping through this because I feel like I just have to show you everything in it because it's amazing. And heads up, these aren't available anymore. I will link to the seller. I bought this on Etsy. I'll link to the seller's Instagram page because if you go follow her, she'll be releasing them I think again at the end of 2018 for like a 2019 planner, so you can go follow her if you want to make sure you get your hands on one for next year. But this is the Always Fully Booked 2018 Book Lovers Planner, and if you guys have been following me for a while you might have heard me mention that I am crazy obsessed with planning. I'm just an organizational nerd, so I love planners, all that kind of stuff, and this one just, I saw it, someone shared it on Twitter actually, and I was like, or maybe it was Facebook, I think it was Facebook, someone shared it on Facebook and I was like, I have to have that because it's me. If I was a planner, this is what I would look like. So it has all your general planner stuff, but then it has a bunch of stuff that is perfect for booktubers basically. Moving into February, you've got another quote page there. Each month it gives you a little sheet to write out your TBR, and it's like an old school library slip, which I love. I think that's awesome. You can also write in new releases. As you can see, I've got All Out in there already, and then you have the monthly calendar, which is very handy. There's a goals section and a notes section and a bookstagram photo prompts section if you want some ideas for what to post on Instagram. And then in the weekly planner section you just have each day and then like a notes section as well. So I'm just gonna oh, I should show you the end of the month. At the end of the month there's a section for book reviews, which I just think is beautiful and awesome and like very, very handy, so I can just write all of my little reviews. So then you have this monthly wrap-up page where you can just like list all the books that you read, the books that you bought, some of your favorite quotes, and just some notes as well. I think that's very handy. So you get one of those each month, and I'll just flick through and show you all the quote pages because they're beautiful. I really like the April one as well. So May, June, this June one is amazing, and then July, August. If I'm like out of sync with my voiceover, it's because I'm doing the voiceover while I'm filming my video, so and I'm gonna flick through the pages on camera afterwards, so if it's out of sync, that is why. But yep. Oh, the November quote page is one of my favorites as well. I think it's amazing. And then there is a December one I forgot to show you as well. There are quarterly wrap-ups, so I'll just go back and show you one of those. So there's a quarterly wrap-up page where you can write like your favorite reads of the season, your social media stats, some quotes, stuff you're loving, goals for the next quarter, and like a wish list, which I think is awesome and perfect. I love that. Then once you get through the entire year, you have a 2018 wrap-up section, which is awesome, and I just can't wait to, it's just so functional for me. And then you have your overflow book reviews, so space to write extra ones, and then there's a few notes pages at the back as well. So I am in love with this planner. It's my new favorite thing and I'm obsessed with it. I'm a bit like extra with planners. I'm using this one solely for my reading, just tracking that, and for planning videos and things like that as well, so everything to do with books for me. Then moving on to the other thing that I'm gonna like put in some footage of me flicking through it for you guys. I shared this book in my January TBR, and a few of you mentioned that you would love to see like a whole like flip through of it. I was going to do it in a separate video, but then I thought that I would just incorporate it into this haul. I will just flip through the pages as I'm talking about it with you guys. The book is The Art of Harry Potter. This is just all the art from Harry Potter. It's kind of concept art, so like what artists drew up based on the books before the movies were made, just to give some idea of like how different scenes might look and things like that, how different characters would look, how different creatures would look. The first chapter is the Wizarding World, and there's loads like Hogsmeade, Hogwarts, all of that stuff. The second section, I should just call them chapters because that's what they're called. So chapter 2 is witches, wizards, witches and muggles. Some of the costumes that were planned and that sort of thing as well. There's a really nice portrait of Hermione with the birds over her head when she was like angry about Ron. Voldemort is some of my favorite portraits that they've done. This one is probably my favorite. It's him looking like Nosferatu, if you guys have seen that really old like Dracula type movie. Chapter 3 is magical creatures. There's a whole bunch of different creatures in here. I'm actually currently reading this book and I haven't, like, this is where I'm up to. I haven't read through this chapter yet, so I don't know if I'm showing you like the best pages. There's some different like house elf drawings of how like house elves might look. I think that's so interesting because they're like all quite similar because it's based on, you know, J.K. Rowling's descriptions in the book, but yeah, it's just interesting to see how different people have pictured it, and this one in the top middle is probably my favorite. I think it looks really funny. Chapter 4 is artifacts. So I guess, like I said, I'm not really up to this bit, but I guess this is all different like things from the Wizarding World, like different props that they would have to make and things. It's a page of wands, which is beautiful. I think wands look amazing. It's so incredible how they can design all these different ones. I think that's so cool. This is where they've put the like portraits of different, you know, people that hang on the walls at Hogwarts. I think that's really cool. Chapter 5 is graphic art of the Wizarding World. So I guess this is like different logos and like books and things. This one is really cool. Books and textbooks. It's awesome. There's so many of them. And they've got different school documents as well, which is so cool. There's ones we didn't even see, like accident report form. That's very interesting. I just think this book is so beautiful and I highly recommend it. So finally, I'm going to finish up with the library books that I got out today. The first one is a situation where, do you guys ever feel like you're like meant to read a book at a certain time because you just keep seeing it everywhere? I've seen this book everywhere over the last 2 days, so I was like, I have to see if the library has it, and they did, which is random. So that is The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. This is a really popular middle grade novel, and I've had it on my TBR for a long time. I've just never really gotten my hands on it, but it looks really, really good. There's a lot of images and things in the book, and there's like text as well, but there are a whole lot of images in it. I don't know anything as to what this is about, but I know it's about an orphan who lives in Paris. I'm just very curious about this one with all the images and that kind of thing in it. I think it could be really fantastic. While I was on my library's website, I thought that I would see if they had another book that I've been really wanting to read. This one I've had on my TBR for a long time. People like Amy from Sharp Amy and Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts have mentioned this book before. I've heard amazing things about it all over the place, and then when I did my like reading goals video and said that I wanted to read more adult fiction, people said that I should read this book, and I was like, yes, I have to read it. So thank you so much if you're one of the people that mentioned it, because it really like reminded me, pushed me that I have to read this soon. So I'm glad that I got it from the library today, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It's about a bunch of college students. They're studying classical studies, I think, and they end up forming like a bit of a culty thing, or like a little society or something. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but it sounds like it's like, you know, they start doing morally questionable things, and I'm very intrigued by this book. I hope that I like it a lot, because I've been anticipating it like for a really long time. The final book that I got from the library is one that I just picked up on a whim. I saw it and I was like, I must read that as well. This is This Monstrous Thing by Mackenzie Lee. Mackenzie Lee wrote The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and this is a book that she had released before that one, and it's kind of a bit of a Frankenstein retelling. There's a guy who is one of the people that makes like clockwork creatures or something, and after his brother passes away he decides to bring him back by putting clockwork parts into him, and as you can imagine it doesn't go so well. So yeah, it's inspired by Frankenstein. I think this book sounds really cool, and I really loved The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, so I'm hoping that I'll like this as well. I think Mackenzie Lee is a fantastic writer from what I've read so far, so I really hope this one is good too. So those are all of the books that I have bought, received and gotten out from the library so far this year. Let me know your thoughts on any of them that you have read, and yeah, I'm super excited. I feel like I saw who was it? The Starry Reader was saying on his channel that he just feels like reading everything at the moment, and I'm so on the same page. I think it's just the start of a new year. It just makes you want to read constantly and like read everything all at once, and I'm just so excited about so many books, and yeah, I'm so excited to get my hands on some that I'm really excited about. How many times can you say excited in a sentence? Thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you with another video in a couple days. Bye.